Hello, good morning, dear Professor Floridi. Thank you very much for accepting this conversation, which will be showed in the, within a big international conference that UNESCO is called to, trying to look for an internet for trust and to regulate digital platforms for information as a public good. So we have agreed on a side event organized by the Citizens Platform on Climate Change and a Sustainable World that focuses on our main activity that has to do with sustainability and the problem of the climate change. More in particular, this greenwashing phenomena that is linked to the disinformation and the fake news that is intoxicating this internet. So the title of the UNESCO conference, if we see it from the other side, means that today we can hardly trust what we get in internet, or at least we have enormous doubts and then confusion. I would like you to develop your vision of the problem with a particular accent on the greenwashing phenomena as a demonstration of what we are concerned about, but also including that the situation is such that we are defending ourselves, and that then the main thing has become adaptation and resilience, which is not necessarily a creative attitude to make of our world and our life together something harmonious as it should be. The word to you, please.
Let me first thank you for this very kind invitation. It really is a great pleasure to be able to interact with you and all the members of UNESCO. I also say this as a former UNESCO chair a long time ago when I was at a different university. So thank you very much and very sincerely for this opportunity to exchange a few ideas. I think, to put it simply, what we are facing is a double form of pollution. We are polluting our analog biological environment. We are destroying the planet on which we live as we speak. And we are polluting, destroying, corrupting the digital environment within which we spend most of our lives. The internet, the web, cyberspace, the infosphere, as I like to call it. And so the biosphere is threatened, the infosphere is threatened, and it is quite simple, although very difficult to implement, but easy to see that we should save both at the same time. That a healthy biosphere leads to better lives, better societies, better economic development, and therefore a better life online in the infosphere. And the infosphere which is not polluted, where there is no greenwashing, where there are no fake news, where you can rely and trust on, for example, medical information, environmental data, political instructions, and so on, is fundamental to save the biosphere. So I see these two areas where essentially we are spending all our time, the biological environment and the artificial informational environment, as two sides of the same coin. We need to save both. We need to make sure that both are sort of flourishing. To your point that what we're doing today is playing defense. Everybody knows, from chess to football, from war to business, that defense is not a strategy. It's admitting that you are already losing and you just hope to lose as little as possible. That losing just a bit will be good enough to fight another day. Well, the message here is that the other day is now. we need to change gear, get on the sort of attack, gently speaking, nicely speaking, attack side of things, and therefore no longer be happy and content that at the end of the day, we'll have saved a few species. Yes, there will be some coral somewhere, still enjoyable, or we have a park here or a park there, or you can still go skiing in the Himalaya because there is no more snow in the Alps and so on. That is not good enough, and it's never been. And likewise, oh yes, some websites are still providing reliable information. Some social media are still doing something to stop or minimize disinformation. That again is also not good enough. Let me give you an analogy, and then I'll start concluding this short interview. When I go to the dentist, if the dentist tells me, Luciano, don't worry, the pain will be just about sustainable, I would be frightened. I would be running away, because sustainable is the minimum required for me not to scream and say, please stop, I can't take it anymore. But that's what we're doing to the planet, to the biosphere, and what we're doing to the infosphere. We just make sure that it doesn't scream out of sheer piercing pain, not something that you would sort of cherish as the ultimate goal. So sustainability is just the minimum threshold, and we're not even there yet. So what I'm suggesting is that we need to do much more. We need to move from sustainable to preferable, the world we want to live in, the infosphere we want to have. And since you asked me about greenwashing, just a final comment on that. Greenwashing is a typical problem of the two spheres badly interacting with each other. The biosphere being destroyed, the infosphere being polluted. Why? Because what you find online is a lot of this greenwashing. In other words, agents of all kinds, companies, but also government agencies, individuals that for social reasons, PR, not public relations, and looking good, looking better than you are, pretend to have done something when in fact they haven't done anything, or even worse, they're actually affecting badly both environments. They pretend to have done something about fake news. They pretend to have done something about pollution, about CO2, etc. But as a matter of fact, nothing is really happening. That's the social reason for greenwashing. Then there is, and I'm coming to an end, the economic reasons. Competition. They want to look better because my customers will come, otherwise citizens may not vote for me, etc. But that's greenwashing anyway. And finally, if I want to be a little bit less pessimistic, there's also a moral reason. We all want to look and pretend to be better than we are. So inevitably, if you do something, you're probably going to highlight more the little good that you have done than highlight and sort of complain about the massive evil that might have actually been caused. So I want to imagine that some of the greenwashing is also done out of sheer desire of pretending, desiring to look better than we actually are ourselves. But whatever the reasons, social, economic, moral, it is greenwashing anyway, and it's disinformation, which means that bad for the infosphere, bad for the environment. The message is we need to change gear, we need to come to attack and therefore defend and make flourish, not just sustainable, but preferable, both an infosphere for all, and therefore trust, and information as something that we have a right to, the good stuff, and a biosphere that we will leave to future generations who will look back and say, thank you, you had a task and you actually delivered. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you. If I may just put a little point in addition, because this is a good, perfect description of the situation and the problem, where it seems that we have lost the possibility of keeping or making of the internet and all the social media around it a useful tool. And that's why the UNESCO conference is a first big step towards trying to regulate the digital platforms. Would you be able to suggest ways for succeeding on that, or it's complicated
But we have
a problem because of the nature of the system in which we are living today.
It is complicated, but we have always faced complicated tasks in the past. It's not the first time that society and civilization has been faced by a big challenge. And normally we have used two tools: education, so that people know better, they are more aware of what's going on, and they can choose, therefore, more intelligently, more informed, and regulations. To put it in more sort of classic philosophical terms, is paideia and nomos. Those are the two things that govern a decent society. More and more education, UNESCO at the forefront, and more regulations. Once again, UNESCO at the forefront. Regulation is perfectly doable. It relies on transparency. I need to know what's going on. I need to see what happens, and therefore accountability. If something goes wrong, someone, somewhere is accountable, and therefore right allocation of responsibility. Now, normally accountability comes with some carrots, but a lot of sticks, and that's what regulations are about. If you don't do the right thing, unfortunately, you will get a ticket, you will have some kind of punishment at the end of the road. So what I'm suggesting, and I've been suggesting for some time, is more regulations, and in case you have any doubt, more and more regulations. That is what makes the internet, the web, the kind of space of information we have, a place where we can all share in the value of digital technology. But let me add like one point at the end. Digital technologies are by default a good thing. They're not there to make any damage, to destroy social lives, to create more pollutions through consumption of energy, etc. They are a fantastic, extraordinary technology created by human intelligence. We just need to make sure that we use them to do good. And therefore, it's about the governance of the digital. That is the real challenge for the 21st century. What we do with it, not so much digital innovation, which will come in new forms, but what you do with what you are developing, that will be a place where UNESCO can make a significant difference.
Very clear. Some are increasingly saying that we should regain the control of the algorithm, but that leads to education from the first grade for people to be able to use the digital, the algorithm, and all these tools that are, as you say, potentially extraordinary, and not only potentially, but that seems to be in other hands than those that want to create a better world and more harmony among ourselves, no?
I agree, and we unfortunately have put in place, as a society in general, we're all a bit responsible, all the wrong incentives. If the incentive is to sell more advertisement, then I need your data, and therefore I will do anything to collect your data, and I will try to sell to you more and more things that you may or may not need. So capitalism and consumerism start becoming the only paradigm we can possibly imagine. But capitalism is just an engine. It's an engine for the creation of wealth, and can create wealth by caring for the world, not consuming the world. But this is a 21st century challenge. It means reinventing capitalism as a form of generating wealth, distributing wealth, and making sure that in doing all this, you make the world, the biosphere, and the infosphere flourish. And everybody will, every now and then says, well, this is so difficult, but welcome to the 21st century. This is our new landing in Normandy. This is our challenge. Now, past generation had the Nazi to fight. Now, are we not up to the same kind of level of commitment to fight for the safety of this world and the safety of society, and a 21st century worth, the name of being a human-centric, a real sort of enterprise worth our efforts? I think that generations are ready to commit, but we need the new paradigms. We need to push in the right direction. All solutions might have worked in the past, but they're no longer fit for purpose. And we need to have a serious change of mind.
Thank you very much, Professor Floridi.
Thank you.
I wish you all the very best, and thank you also for the knowledge that throughout many years you are sharing with all of us.
Thank you, and have a good meeting.